How do you find the will to fight back against a world that wants to keep you sedated, average, and stuck in place? Join us for the tools and strategies you need to create a life of abundance, discipline, and high achievement. This is the Tactical Empire with Jeff Smith.
Welcome to another episode of the Tactical Empire. Today, it is just me, just Jeff Smith, and I'm here to talk to you guys about some interesting topics with regards to the end of the year. As we wrap up 2024, one thing that we do often within our group is kind of a retrospective, but I wanted to talk about something that's near and dear to me as far as heading into the year. This year, we had some pretty significant changes within my family, right? So we sold our house and decided to full-time RV with our family, 4 kids on the road full-time, which turned out to be a huge commitment. I knew it would be, but we had talked about it with something we had talked about frequently. But ultimately, it was something that we were willing to go all in on. And it took us about 10 months to plan for it. And that's really something that was truly important to us. We were already homeschooling. We already worked from the house. We had a couple business loopholes that we needed to, loose ends, I should say, not loopholes, loose ends that we needed to tie up in order to take it on the road and make everything fully functional. But ultimately, what I wanted to talk to you about is as you plan 2025 and as you forecast what you're going to do next year with regards to your personal life, your 4 F's, right? Your fitness, your family, your finances, and your freedom. One of the things that I think you should really think about and try to prioritize is figuring out truly seizing the moment and not letting time pass by so that you can, I mean, this is something we preach constantly within the inner circle and something that I'm passionate about as far as making sure that you're living every day to its fullest and not trying to seek balance or trying to accumulate now or build now in spite of waiting for other things. I'm going to build this business right now, and then in 10 years, I'm going to go ahead and enjoy it, kick back and enjoy time with my family. If you've been around for a minute, you know that I'm huge on mortality and the fact that tomorrow's not promised to any of us. And so one of the largest impetuses of us taking life on the road and spending time with our family was that I wanted to enjoy this period of time in our children's lives. Our kids are 5, 7, 10, and 12 right now. And I wanted to experience all of it with them as far as taking them to all 50 states, experiencing all the different national parks with them, living kind of a free life full of experiences and experiential opportunities for them, so that not only are we teaching them history and all the different studies in school, we're also experiencing those and living them as we go out and do these things. So as we travel to different areas, we learn about different things with regards to culture and history and all kinds of different information. And so for us, that was a priority to us. It was something that was very important to us. And I think that we've been having a lot of conversations within the inner circle with the men in there along the same lines, how, and this comes up during annual planning with your spouse, couples annual planning. We've got other episodes on that and how that shakes out. But what you're really looking at doing is how are you spending your time, and how are you maximizing those experiences in the years you have with your loved ones? And are you doing things that you're happy with, or are you doing things based on the desires of other people, or are you trying to make other people happy? There's a lot of people pleasing going on with everyone out there. And then there's a level of uncertainty of how will you make money? If it's not like clear to you, you can also, how will people judge you? How will people look at you? Whatever, because you're living an unconventional lifestyle, right? So you're like willing to step outside the norm and kind of take life by the balls and do what you want to do with it. And I encourage you um, to kind of think that way. Think outside the box with regards to what you want to do with this life. Um, how do you want to live? How do you want to operate? Are you living to a higher standard for yourself personally, or are you settling with regards to your job, with regards to your family, with regards to how you carry yourself with integrity? Or how is your health? All those things. And the end of the year is always a great time to audit all those areas. But for the specific thing that I wanted to talk about is like and I've mentioned it on this podcast before, that like you literally can do anything you want to do at any given time if you have the bravery and the wherewithal and the mental capabilities to make that change personally. um, like you can reinvent yourself an unlimited amount of times in this life. So just because you did something in 2024 doesn't mean that that has to be the version of you in 2025. A lot of us get stuck in these jobs in different areas. You live in a certain area, a certain geographic location, and you think that that's what you're meant to do. You think that that's everything that there is to offer, or whatever, or you don't want to seize the opportunity because the risk seems too high. The what ifs, the what could go wrongs, um, come up and they paralyze people. And and I just wanted to spend some time talking to you guys about the fact that you have the opportunity to eh, be, do, and have anything you want to be, anything you want to do, anything you want to have. You can create it all. And especially when it comes to your family, especially when it comes to your loved ones, don't let that time pass by. Don't miss an opportunity to seize a moment to experience something with them. This is not always something that I've done. I've talked extensively in this podcast about 10 years ago, 15 years ago, when I was more focused on building businesses and more focused on trying to figure my own shit out than I was focused on my family and my loved ones, and then having children and my oldest children, how I raised them versus like how I'm present now, because of the finite amount of time that you have to experience those things with your children. And um, there's always opportunity to restart. There's always opportunity to rebuild with regards to finances and businesses and things like that. I always say that's the easiest part, right? But I think that there's no higher value that you can offer to this world than ensuring that you're spending quality time with the people that you have the biggest impact on. And in my case, that was the five other people that live in my house with me. And so I chose to really push on the gasoline with regards to the experiences that we were generating. And for us, that has been very, very fruitful. And I've had a lot of conversations over the last week that have just like really driven that point home, as far as like how grateful I am for the decisions that we've made this year, and the decisions that we've made for our family, the things that we're executing on as far as how close we've become as a unit, and just the relationships that I have with my children now are exponentially better than when we were living just in a regular house in Houston and not spending all of our time together. I mean, we still kind of spent a lot of time together. But now there's just so much more to do. We spend our time, um, much greater amount of time on meaningful things. I feel like meaningful experiences with each other, and rather than just like going through our day to day mundane routine. of where I escape to my office, I do my work, I have my routine, and then everyone else has their routines going on somewhere else, and we just don't. And then we reconvene, whatever, for dinner. And I think the biggest thing that we took out of this year, especially the last 8 months, has been that we just did so much stuff in the last 8 months. We hit so many national parks. We hiked so many places. There was just no wasted time. And now I don't say that we didn't waste any time. We didn't have any downtime, because we did. But I mean, like, the amount, if you look at what we would have done had we lived in our house in the middle of Houston, or if we traveled for the last 8 months and did what we did, like, the 8 months would have went by in our home doing the same thing, Groundhog Day type behavior. And I don't think we would have valued the time with our children the way that we have living on the road, because it has just tremendously increased our communication, our ability to spend time with our kids, like one on one, like as small groups, breaking out, doing things. We spend the majority of our time outside. It's just been really, really great for our family. And so I say all that to say, most of you probably aren't going to decide to hop in an RV full time with your family, and that is perfectly fine. It's definitely not for everybody. But I say that to say, as you go through and plan 2025, I want you to think about those things that you want to be prioritizing and that you want to be really focused on. And if it's your kids, it's your kids, great. If it's your spouse, improving your relationship, your marriage, whatever, um, I want you to really give yourself permission to go all in on that particular thing, because I promise you the other things will fall into place if you're focused on an area that brings you a ton of joy and that you have a lot of passion for. I mean, since we've moved, I've done a, a storage project. I've got another property under contract or excuse me, I bought another rental property. We're doing a rehab on it right now. This is all happening in Texas while we travel around, right? And then we've got another ground up build that we're pipelining that we're going to be doing as well. So, I mean, for me, and the Tactical Empire has been growing exponentially as we prepare to roll out a book in the beginning of next year. So, I mean, the work hasn't really slowed down. It's just really the strategic, like, I mean, the way that I look at work now is different, and the things that it's forced me to do as far as leveling up and becoming a different kind of leader, a different kind of worker, a different kind of investor. It's really just drawn out the next level of my skill set that's necessary in order to operate and function in all these different things that we want to be doing. And so we talk about there being no such thing as balance, right? So, like, this is the epitome of, like, integration. And so, in order for us to have the freedom and flexibility to travel full time, what did I have to do in order to make all that work? And for me, it's just continuing to raise my awareness on areas of friction. Like, what do I have to be doing? Who do we need? Do we need to bring on more team members to help me with certain areas? And in certain areas we've done that, and it's worked out well. And then other areas we tried things that haven't necessarily helped or worked. And so we're still tweaking all that. But that's to say, that's not to say that you shouldn't be taking those moves, shouldn't be making those moves. Because for me, like, as that time ticks on with my 12-year-old, I've got whatever 6 more years with her, right? As far as living under our roof. And I will never regret the next 6 years having made sure that I was tweaking and making the changes with regards to what I deem work or how we earn income, and playing with that side of things while I spend time and have those experiences with her. Because that time I'm never getting back. The time in business I can make up overnight. And so like I think that for based on the seasons of life you're in, I want you to think about what you're prioritizing going forward. Um, because when you integrate everything together and you're on a solid foundation with regards to your family and your relationships that you have, it helps you become a better leader. It helps you make more money, quite frankly. I mean, there's no way around it. You show up differently, you show up better in the situations that you need to be showing up for. So as you head into 25, think about what you want to be prioritizing, make the moves necessary to do it, and take a leap, man. Lean in, do those things that frighten you. Make sure that you're living life full out so that you can have zero regrets at the end of the day. Like, go get every bit of this life you meant for. So have a great week, kick ass, and we'll talk to you in a couple days on the next episode. Have a great day.